side are you on?
Get off the fence, son.
Which side are you on?
Get off the bench, son.
Which side are you
Who will stand to defend us?
Which side are you on, my lord?
So your girl was excited when she found out we was going to interview Chace Infinite, huh?
Yeah, well, not exactly Chace Infinite, but Chace Infinite.
She thought Chace Infinite was chasing.
Yeah, man. Yo, we doing big things. We just started our podcast. We got Chace Infinity already, bro. She not even in our demographic. You know what I'm saying? Our demographic is still like over 90% male, between like 35 and 44. They don't even know who Chace Infinity is.
So just blur
That's
out my
deep.
face and say it's Chace Infinity anyway.
But they know who Chace Infinite is.
Yeah, there you go.
We got Chace Infinite. My name is Talib Kweli.
I'm Tef Poe.
This is Let Me Ask You This, and I'm glad that we got today's guest on Let Me Ask You This, Chace Infinite. What's up, Chace Infinite?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I got some
What's
questions.
up, brother Tef? Pleasure to meet you for the
Super
first
legend,
time,
man. Super legend.
That's a legend right there.
One of the hardest on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
That's a legend.
It must be a mirror over there.
You don't know me because I didn't bid a lot of your swag, player, but we'll talk about that later.
It's all good.
Yeah, man, you have done People's Party before. And when I started People's Party interview by saying I couldn't find no interviews on you.
Right.
And you sent me the ninja emoji on the phone. Because you really is like a ninja out here in these boardrooms and these back rooms. And for people who don't know, Chace Infinite is a good friend of mine. One of my favorite MCs as an artist. He has always inspired me. Him and DJ Khalil with Self Scientific have always inspired me. And then when I came out to the West Coast and I was really tapping in with Strong Arm Steady, the Steady Gang, you was a part of that, still part of that. That's
Absolutely.
your family, that's
Absolutely.
your peoples.
Absolutely.
And so I went from being someone who was like marginally aligned with you to being good friends with you.
sure.
And then we've worked together on management situations. You work with Yassine. But the first thing I want to start out asking you in this conversation, the second iteration of us potting together, is how tough is it for you to be a conscious record executive?
I mean, it's probably tougher to be a conscious person. As a record executive, it's probably two things kind of anchor me as an executive is the fact that I've still am and I always have been an artist, so I see things from an artist perspective. So, you know, in the industry, people often look for, in the building, right? They always look for people that can speak to artists or explain things to artists, whether they're upset about the structure of a contract or having to do a radio or press run when they don't want to. Like, I'm always a person that, even when I was, you know, actively working in record companies, I was always the person that was like, go talk to Talib, you know?
Yeah.
we think we want him to go on he doesn't want to do it, you know, so
Right.
they send me because it's easy for me to kind of...
Yeah, go talk that black talk to him. You
Because
know
it's
that
kind
rapper
of easy
talk.
to disarm whatever the apprehension or opposition is to that. And then being conscious is like, for better or for worse, I really don't have a price. I don't necessarily do things for money, and that's rooted in the idea that we're, you know, or the practice of being a conscious human being. So,
Well, I mean, I say that, and I ask that because you are an anomaly. I've met people in this business who are righteous and conscious, but just like trying to be a police officer, right? And I'm not saying you the cops. I'm not saying you the boys.
Yeah.
But if you have a righteous, conscious mentality and you're trying to be an upstanding police officer, you're going to get murdered.
yeah.
Those other police ain't going to have your back.
Yeah.
You're going to run into a lot of problems. So I imagine in the music business, as an artist, I've never been a management. I am a boss. And I run a record label. So I guess I am an executive
No, for sure.
to a degree.
100%.
I guess I am. I just had that realization right here in front of you.
No, you definitely have. Yeah, you definitely are.
But because I still look at myself as an artist and first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, I guess you have gone into working with different labels and different artists, whereas your job becomes the vision of the label or the vision of the artist. And so I guess that's why I never put myself in that bag, because even for Javoti, it's never been any other vision but mine.
yeah.
But I asked you this question because you've been successful at it. No one doubts who you are as a man. No one doubts your credibility. No one doubts your accolades. Everyone bigs you up in the business, from hip hop to anybody you've ever worked with. They enjoy working with you. It's a pleasure to work with you, but it's like these two worlds don't always gel.
No, they don't. And it's rare that You know, you get an opportunity to, I guess, have one foot on both sides of that line, but there is a line. And, you know, I've probably suffered on what we consider the executive side sometimes because, like I said, I'm 99.9% of the time, I'm siding with the artist. And if it's a situation I'm put in to translate or be involved in something that's going to put the artist in a bad position, I'm just not going to do that because I've always figured that whatever longevity I have on the business side is going to come because I have a relationship with artists and not because I was, you know, in favor of the music industry is a place where it was never, you know, just like the law in America was never meant to aid and abet citizens.
That's
really.
right.
The laws or the structure of the music industry is not designed to aid and abet artists. It's changed somewhat since I started. I've been doing this like 37 years now. But yeah, it's not somewhere where artists get a fair shake. The structure of the music industry, and it has a lot of times has nothing to do with the company's intention or whatever executive is in the seat for making the decisions, their intention. It's literally the structure of the music industry.
Yeah.
The artists get paid last. And that's why people like Ray Charles was an anomaly. People like yourself, you know, you say you're not an executive or you didn't see yourself as that, but that's, from my experiences, since I've known you, that's absolutely not true. Where there's been, you know, your experience with Raucous Records into venturing into your own things and you signed, you know, you talked about Strong Arm Steady earlier. Strong Arm Steady was signed to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
it's crazy though, because that's exactly right. But my memories of that experience is being at the crib, smoking backwoods, swishes,
But that's how it
rhyming on
starts.
mixtapes. But yeah, you're right. It's like, okay, I use my platform to be able to bring that music to a wider audience. But for me, it was about me tapping in with them, not me providing the opportunity for them.
And that's how it starts a lot for me too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people that I've worked with, whether it be on the management side or somebody I signed or did marketing for, because I've done it all, but it generally starts as a friendship that develops or a mutual admiration for art. And then some people recognize maybe that I'm in a position or know certain executives that they can't necessarily get on the phone. So I'm in a position to help. And then as a result of that, people are gracious enough to let me sit at the table and eat with them. You know, for a long time, that was kind of the hardest part. Is not finding opportunity, but figuring out how to justify a way for me to get paid for what I do versus just being the homie that hooked everybody up.
Right.
So that's, you know, but you know, both have happened and I don't have no qualms about any of it. Honestly, I'm grateful to be in a position to do any of it. Because as you know, because you're a conscious artist and have been for a long time, I think you're probably the standard. When a nigga starts to have, you know, it'll be like, you know, your Talib Kweli shit is literally a verb motherfuckers are used.
Oh no, we was talking about that with
Talk about it all the
Razcast because
time,
we was talking to Raz last night, and he went on the Bag Fuel, and he was like, you know, I don't fuck with the chew stick rap niggas, and they was like, oh, you mean like Talib Kweli?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How my name get thrown in this shit?
But you're synonymous. But you're synonymous with a certain.
I'm synonymous with
With
that.
a certain energy when it comes to hip hop, which
absolutely.
which to me is a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
Like when I say that, when people say
I'm
that,
jokey when I talk about it in that way, but when I see that, I really appreciate it.
no, you have to. You have to. Because I mean, if we, I'm 53, bro. I'll be 53, God willing, in March 27th.
Yes, indeed.
Bro, like the era we come from, that's what I aspire to be.
That's right.
You know, when I was listening to Brother Jay and, you know, whatever, a lot of artists that came before us, like, that's what made me, Chuck D or J. Rue the Damager, like, I aspired to be somebody that was, you know, that people looked at in that light.
Yeah, there's a
Somebody
lot
that had
of
knowledge of self and
worse
could
things you
translate
could
that.
be the poster child for.
Man, straight up. And True Sticks, Miss Wax are actually really good for your teeth.
We was just saying that.
They keep your breath. They keep your breath from stinking.
I said, the God's gonna tell you it's good for your breath and your teeth. So
Yeah. Straight up. That's the Ramadan cheat code. So yeah, I please associate me with Chew Sticks. I'm with it.
no doubt.
Man, one thing I think about when I think of your trajectory, me and an actual very talented MC, having one of the best producers in the game.
Thank you, brother.
But you also chose to do a lot of things that are very selfless in the name of the entire community and the entire
word.
ecosystem.
Word. Word.
A lot of people who were in your position with the producer, with the accolades, with the flow, with the credibility, they just simply wouldn't have did that. What motivated you to be that person?
I'm not quite sure, man. I think it's about how I enter a relationship with an artist. And it probably comes from, I started in the music industry when I was 14 as an intern, right? But I was also actively in a group with DJ Khalil called Self Scientific. And I think at the time, even though you had some examples of people that were artists and executives, there weren't a lot of examples of that. So I never really wanted to have my work as an executive be overshadowed by the fact that I didn't want people to think I was seeking an opportunity as an artist when I'm actually doing work, an occupation, something.
That seems difficult.
You can't do a marketing plan for Raz Kaz or Snoop Dogg and they thinking you trying to talk to everybody that you talk to, trying to listen to Self Scientific too. So it came. So I guess in some ways I did develop like these two identities. If it comes up and you want to talk about it, cool, no problem. You want me on a song? I'll show up. I write a verse. But I'm not gonna utilize whatever leverage I have as an executive to improve my position as an artist, and then vice versa. Most of the stuff that we put out, even though I know a lot of the people who quote unquote write the checks for these companies, Self Scientific we had a development deal with Loud Records. That's it. Like as a demo, I did a demo with them, but other than that, we put out our own shit.
Yeah.
Always have. I went to Rainbow in Santa Monica and pressed up lacquers and made vinyl and sold it and
Peanut Butter Wolf and all that.
Funded our own tours overseas and it's always been the case, man. So I think the selfish part comes from just probably thinking about how I would want somebody to interact with me if the shoe's on the other foot.
You mentioned Ray Charles earlier, and Khalil's been working on his Ray Charles record.
Yeah.
I think I'm on that.
You are.
Yeah.
You definitely are. Thank you for that, too.
No, thank you. What's going on with new Self Scientific music?
We have, man, probably over 80 songs. And the way that Self Scientific works is I do the lyrics and the concepts for the songs most of the time, and Khalil finishes the music.
Yeah.
Khalil is busy.
Yeah.
Is hell.
I saw him at the playlist retreat, which is great. I actually recorded over 3 of them. Khalil, he sent me a pack back in September. Shout out to Jazzy Jeff. That's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
For real. Shout out to the legend Jazzy Jeff.
But seeing Khalil there, and it was good. We tapped in.
Yeah. I mean, Khalil is just, number one, it's kind of like you and Yasin. Like, Khalil is literally my best friend. Right? So and we both, have children and have responsibilities and, we're each other's confidants when it comes to just life stuff, right? So if Khalil's going through something, I'm not going to call and ask him about, did you finish that song?
Right.
If he knows I'm going through something, challenges and shit, like he's not going to be like, well, you need to finish that second verse. Right. So, and I think in a group, you need that dynamic a little bit to hold each other accountable. And not that we don't hold each other accountable, we just never let the music and how we interact as brothers interfere with, because, this is important. The music's important, but not as important as, the bond that we have as men, as brothers. So
you spoke on Self Scientific not being like a major group in terms of deals, and you put out everything independent, but not just for the West Coast, but in the hip hop canon, y'all definitely have left an impact, an important stamp.
For sure.
In the form of like the dynamic of a one MC, one producer thing. It's like, when you think about that, we were talking to Blue and Exile about that, and there's a lineage there.
For sure.
They come after y'all.
For sure.
I think Self Scientific and Reflection Eternals around the same time.
Around the same time.
But we come after Gangstar. And so we're part of a fraternity or, a secret society of producer MC groups.
For sure.
And I'm proud to be cut from that cloth.
Man, I agree. If I had to if you're asking me, I think we're all probably Gangstar babies.
It's always Gangstar, yeah.
When it comes to that. Yeah. So I feel honored to be a part. And sometimes when we get into the hip hop conversations, I'd be like, damn, it's just like you maybe having a realization and presently like, oh wow, I am an executive too. What you just said, I'm like, damn, sometimes I realize that too. Like, man, it's not a lot of duos. So when people give us accolades or say the type of things that you just said, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's true, because it's only been, it's maybe a handful of songs with me over somebody else's beat. and it's probably with you or
Right.
evidence or somebody.
Right.
You know, and most of the time when I'm recording it's DJ Khalil and we formulating this whole idea of what self-scientific is.
Yeah, self-scientific. There's a lot of self-scientific babies running around here,
Word.
particularly in Los Angeles, I think.
I feel like I'm a
for
self-scientific kid
and
for
I think
sure.
I recognize that now too. You know, just a certain, because it's conscious, but it has street elements. You know, we have, you know, you categorically call us a conscious group, but also there's some ignorant ass moments too.
Yeah.
So just making way to be a human being, but also having a through line that's like rooted in something that some chew stick energy.
Chew stick energy. Big chew stick energy.
Big chew pause. But yeah, big chew stick music, you know, I think that's what we contributed to the Los Angeles. Los Angeles is such a car and gangbang culture. Like, we made a conscious effort to not fall into that, but to represent so many other things. And in the name itself, we come from an era where your name is your title. And what you chose as a name for your group or your entities, what you kind of had to embody in some way. So self-scientific literally means knowledge of self. So I'm always explaining an emotion or a circumstance or something as it relates to like from yourself outward.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was a huge self-scientific fan, man. That music turned me out because it was conscious and it was also street.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So it had a vibe where I was learning something, but it was also like, hey, these niggas ain't punks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That was the idea, you know, like Khalil. And if we ever did go back and forth about something, that's, you know, Khalil's always trying to like, nah, go deeper. Don't, you know, don't bring that street shit into this shit.
Right.
But, you know, I got to be true to, you know, my experience as well as an MC. So I was always trying to sneak a girl record in there or, you know, talk about the homies in some way without, you know, getting caught up in gang shit. But so, you know, it's in there and you probably get the energy more than like a direct explanation of certain shit. But like, you know, those that know.
Blue, Exile was saying similar things about Blue, and High Tech doesn't say those things because he's quiet, but he does those things.
He does.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
I would go in the booth and I would spit my heart out, and you know, you know me, I'm trying different things. I'm trying to be international, I'm trying to touch the people.
Right.
And I'd be like, "How was it?" You know, it's cool.
It's cool.
And that's cool. You know, it's carrying a lot of weight. That is
sure.
cool. There's a lot to unpack in that. It's cool.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Khalil does the same thing. I'll be like, you like it? He'll be like, yeah. And you know, usually that means like, not really. Maybe you should do it again.
Right. But man, iron sharpen iron, and I'm glad that we have people like that in our lives.
Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Before we sat down for this talk, we were listening to Wyatt Waddell.
Incredible.
You put us on. I first got hip to him on your Instagram. People don't know this, but I look at Instagram through the podcast, because you know they don't let me on Instagram.
Yeah.
But through the podcast Instagram, I was able to see.
Damn, I was telling Cece, I was like, man, as much as I used to talk shit, I kind of miss Kweli.
Listen, bro, I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Man.
Y'all needed me. Y'all needed me. Y'all just didn't know y'all needed me.
We needed
Everybody who said get off the internet, now y'all like, man, I wish I had Kweli here to talk
I was
shit.
definitely one of those friends that call you sometimes like, bro, what is going on, bro?
Yo, D-Ray Davis said, ain't it a bitch that everything niggas told you to stop doing is how niggas get paid now on the internet?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the unfortunate, that's the position that we're in.
Yeah, they kicked me off and got me out the way so all these
So everybody
ignorant
else
niggas
can make
get
money.
paid.
Yeah. There's no, you don't get no points. You don't get no money being first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody right behind you, or you'd be like, I just did that. That's crazy as fuck.
Right. But especially when I see these podcasts, it's like a lot of goofy shit. Niggas arguing on podcasts and having fights in the podcasts and talking about the grievances they have with each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was me on Twitter just against the system.
The only difference is like you're actually well read and you have a real international perspective because you really travel and you know have respect for many different cultures and walks of life.
Right. We in Duck in Morocco.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have that though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that when I was telling that to CSIC, I think that's what we, really miss is the fact that, having an opposing opinion or a controversial opinion nowadays, it gets you a lot of bread. People do it just to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the problem is that most people don't care to actually study or read enough or don't have enough lived experience to actually, number one, sound intelligent or have a perspective that they can actually defend.
I just wrote an essay about this, about the pitfalls of being a contrarian and how being a contrarian is a straight line to not just narcissism, but really to fascism. Because if your entire identity is based on, I'm going to take a contrary position, then you're going to end up siding with people who are wrong. And you're going to end up siding with dictators and people who want to have authority over human beings, because at this point, you just want to be right about something. And you want to be right about something, or not even be right. You want to feel like you're right about something more than you want to help create a solution for a problem. And when that happens, it's just, this is why you're just a disruptor without having a cause to disrupt. This is why the James Dean of it all with white societies, it's like these motherfuckers just want to rebel against their parents for no reason. They just want to be contrary. It's not really based in anything. It's not based in actual beliefs or actual solutions. And that's a real big part of the problem. Yeah. But I mean, I got off track. I was asking you about the guitar dude.
Wyatt. So Wyatt is a 29-year-old brother from Chicago who's an exceptional singer, songwriter, producer, musician. I actually, you was joking with me earlier, but my new passion for the last 4 or 5 years is smoking cigars. And I smoke cigars all the time with an artist named Devin Morrison. He'll come by the house because he lives close, who's another incredible R&B artist, Devin Morrison, and producer. But he'll come by the house mostly because he's bumming cigars off me. but one day he was like, man, have you seen this kid on TikTok? Not a kid, but a young man. He's like, man, you got to check this dude out. And he showed me this. He was doing, I thought it was really smart. At first I thought it was a real strategy. He was on TikTok singing songs like, 20 seconds of the song all the time and kind of alluding to it coming out, but he didn't have anything on DSPs or, on the internet. So I was like, wow, who the fuck is this guy? He was a song called Should Have Stayed Home. And it was just the texture of the music, man. Like, he had just acoustic versions of it, or he'd be with his musician friends. And I just went crazy, completely fell in love with the music and, began the process of trying to figure out, how can I get a hold of this dude? Fast forward, I'm telling the story fast, but fast forward, he put out a song that he was a feature on with a group called Patchwork Inc. Patchwork Inc. is a loose collective. This guy named Blake Ryan, who's a musician and producer from Chicago as well. He's Duran. I forget what's in the Indications. He's in the group The Indications, and he started this collective, which I can only really describe kind of like how Salt or like Soul to Soul is, or whatever. It's a collective of artists, but it's always different featured vocals on the lead. And this song with Wyatt was crazy. I was like, man, he's got to know who Wyatt is. Got to have connections to him, obviously, because he's on the song. So when I reached out to Blake, because I do A&R at Empire currently too. Yeah. So I reached out to Blake, like, man, what are you guys doing? They had put out a record through his independent label called Coal Mine Records out of Loveland, Ohio, who is an incredible, they do mostly vinyl, but they do like all these, I guess, retro soul type records that
they
I'm really into.
Once to put out We?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to the Coal Mine dudes because Yassine likes We, and we were trying to find the original singer, and they put out that We record and tracked them down.
Yeah. So it's a great something. Family-owned business from Loveland, Ohio. They own a record shop too called Plaid Room Records. Do a great record digging day or whatever. They just had it this weekend. But I asked him, I was like, bro, do you know Wyatt Waddell? Because I've been trying to reach him for like 5-6 months now. I'm leaving messages on TikTok and shit. He's not really responding. He don't know who the fuck I am. So Blake was like, yeah, no problem. I'll connect you guys. He connected me and Wyatt, and we just connected instantly. He's like, bro, I wouldn't mind having you work with me if you're open to it. I was like, I thought you'd never ask.
Man.
And we signed him to Empire. I manage him. He just put out his record. It's called The Understudy. It's a 12-song album that's completely produced and written by him and some of the musicians that he works with. And the understudy is a perfect name for the album because when you hear his music, for people that know music, you go, it's coated with all these influences, and he told me a story.
It's Black American music.
It's literally Black American.
It's blues. It's rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of funk and soul in there.
Yeah.
And it's these Midwest cats, man. The Black Midwest has not let go of rock and roll in the way that a lot of people
at
have.
all.
From Band Called Death to this guy. Where's Mono Neon from? Anybody know?
I don't know where he's from, but he cold as hell.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's from the Midwest.
That's a brother
too.
be having crazy ass outfits.
Yeah.
One of my homegirls, Frankie Doo-Wop, got a track with him. That boy cold.
He's crazy.
But he's a a classic singer-songwriter style, and it's refreshing to hear.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of that, man. I feel like me and Tyler, the Creator, always go back and forth about this. Like the tide is actually changing to where there's been such a oversaturation of certain types of Black music or hip hop in particular that people are now, I think, are more opened up to a more a form of Black music that focuses more on musicianship and how you write the lyrics and a certain song structure.
Are we ready to address the fact that hip hop is adult contemporary music for people our age, and there's people who go out to clubs and go out to parties? It's not like the cutting edge like it used to be.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. I think it always has been to a certain degree. The first word in hip hop is hip, and I think you almost have to be young to be hip per se. So it's always going to be a contingency or a section of hip hop that people our age don't really understand.
Yeah.
Hip hop has definitely evolved. I worked with an artist named Playboy Cardi early in his career that people, now is kind of the norm in terms of like what we consider to be hip hop, but it's morphed.
Yeah.
I think I think certain forms of hip hop, which are sample based, which concentrates on a 4/4 time scale, like rhyming around the snare and shit like that, maybe that can be considered or sounds like to most younger people something that's adult contemporary. But think about it when we were coming up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were certain groups that definitely that felt older than us. Like, you know what I'm saying? And more mature to the point where we're learning from the things that they're putting in the music. And then the sound of the music sometimes was almost like, okay. And it helped elevate us in terms of like our appreciation for music.
Yeah.
But it definitely was not something that was contemporary to us.
Well, I think about the conversation around people was mad at Yachty because he was making fun of the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
He was like, they say what I say is nonsense, but hip, that shit sound crazy to me. Right?
Of course it does.
Right, because you had to kind of be there and be outside to understand why that was cutting edge and revolutionary at the time.
Or the lineage of that particular style of MCing.
And it reminds me of the Rhyme and Reason documentary. And there's a scene when Method Man, this documentary comes out in 94.
Right.
And so at the time, the cutting edge was big, and Wu-Tang, and these is like young, just barely fresh out of teenage age.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Method Man said, yo, they had a book, you know what I'm saying, where they try to have the hip-hop slang in the book, and they had words in there like deaf and fresh, and we don't even be saying them words no more. You walk up to a nigga nowadays talking about, yo, I'm chilling the fresh way, the nigga gonna look at you like he crazy.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was true.
When KRS says 50 years down the line, don't start this because we'll be the old school artists. It's like, you gonna have your time to be cutting edge, and you gonna have your time to not be cutting edge.
Yeah, man.
And then when you're not cutting edge, you become part of the mainstream culture.
Bro, I remember me and Khalil were like 23 when we got that development deal with Loud. And we were recording our demo at Ice-T's house. Ice-T, who was a legend by any, and probably one of the eldest members of the hip-hop community. I think Ice might be, I'm 53, Ice got to be 67, 68. And he's been around for a long time. One of the longest, most successful
he was
careers.
breaking and breaking.
Bro, he's one of the longest.
Official, down by law.
He was damn near 30.
And breaking, right?
You know what I'm saying? He was in his late 20s already.
Right.
So he said to us, he was like, I'm excited about the opportunity and shit. And we talking about, he's like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 23. He was like, It was like a look of disappointment. I'm like, what? I was like, what's up with that? And he was like, honestly, he's like, you kind of right outside of the sphere of influence for hip hop. And I was like, what you mean, nigga? I'm out here. I'm going back and forth to New York. And I'm going to clubs and shit. I'm thinking I'm in it. And he's like, yeah. He's like, but honestly, like the people that are responsible for making the decisions about where this shit is actually going are 5, 6 years younger than you. He's like, hip hop is a young man's sport. He was the first person to really tell me that or get me to understand it. Like, oh shit, no, it really is. And this is somebody who's, 14 years older than me.
Yeah, man. To that point, you mentioned that you discovered this artist on TikTok. I don't remember which executive it was, because this was a number of years ago. I went to have a meeting with a record executive who was an A&R. And he said, man, my job is easy now. I just scroll through TikTok.
Yeah.
And whatever's cracking on TikTok is what I bring to my bosses and be like, this is what's cracking on TikTok.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
It's accurate to an extent. Like it's not accurate for me per se. I still discover artists technically I found out through another artist.
Okay.
But he told me, but he showed me. So it wasn't like I scrolled. I did some research after the fact, like who is this guy? Is he personable? Is he charismatic? Because you start trying to plug in all the other variables that make an artist. But I was like, I heard about it, and most of the time, the things that I'm into, I hear about from other artists still. But there are it's changed. Great, man. Listen, they got whole research departments. I have an A&R call that I'm on once a week, actually twice a week, with Empire, and we start the meetings with the research department. In the research department, a young brother named Elijah, who's brilliant. He's ridiculous. He's a beast when it comes to data. So he searches. They have these programs now that kind of give you the highlights of the data from each of the individual social media platforms and what's spiking. So, it's his personal taste combined with data that determines who he present in the A&R. And at first I was like, man, what is this shit, bro? Hey, data. I'm like, research department. At first, as an older person, one of the oldest A&Rs on the team, I'm like, I don't know if I want to hear this shit. But then I really began to understand, it's just like AI. So AI is a compilation of these keywords and intelligence from people like yourself trying to troubleshoot or find a solution for something, right? But it still relies on the intelligence of Talib Kweli in order to regurgitate or give you a suggestion or figure out something. Somebody had to actually write a document or put a document together in order for them to give you the structure that they provide through AI. So there's still a considerable amount of natural intelligence.
Yeah, that's why robots are going to be racist in the future, because
people are racist. Because people are racist, bro. So my point is, there's still a degree of natural intelligence in combination with data that informs people, even in research departments. But to answer your question, it's over.
It's over. The long story short, it's over.
It's over.
It's over now, Corrupt said.
If I hadn't discovered the brother, within 2 months, somebody would have brought him up. This guy's spiking on social media. Waddell, yeah. Damn. But Wyatt's incredible. He's, people say Stevie Wonder, the Beatles, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, classic groups that, and that's why his album's called The Understudy, because he regurgitates and represents all those nuances without sounding on the nose. It's it's still something new and contemporary, but it's it feels like some shit you heard before.
Yeah, like putting on a jacket or a shirt that you reminds you of your childhood.
A good vintage shirt.
Yeah.
Man, I remember I couldn't afford this polo when it first came out. But I got it now.
I got it now.
Yeah.
So with that said, what actually defines talent to you these days?
What defines talent is a very good question. If you exist within the canon of artists, either contemporary or older artists, that if I can find a way for you to exist, in my understanding, within the same canon as artists that I respect. A lot of people play the guitar. A lot of people sing. A lot of people rhyme, you know what I'm saying? But are you reminiscent of something that I remember is great? Can I see you within the landscape of whether they be really good unknown artists or, legendary artists? Can I see you within that canon? That's the thing that kind of determines, maybe it doesn't just determine talent, but it determines for me whether or not I can work with you or find a way to help you exploit your talent. Because 50 years later, man, there's a lot of really talented, people that can rhyme, but I don't know how many people, actually sparked my interest in it. Because there's not a lot that I haven't heard. I'm good friends with Talib Kweli. I'm good friends with Yasin Bey. I'm good friends
You're
with
Chace
Black.
Infinite.
I'm Chace Infinite.
Right.
So it's hard for a motherfucker just to be like, if you can rhyme, that's cool. But is there something else that,
Well, as somebody who's been an artist and is an artist and is on the executive and management side, if it's a pie chart,
yeah.
what percent of the pie chart does talent represent in the metric of success? In the business wise, I don't mean success in life, but like to be a successful artist where people are like, yo, he's doing it big in the industry.
Yeah, for me, it's still probably, over half of that. I can't say
Over
exact,
half.
but to me, it's definitely over half because everything, the business of music you can learn. You can, a motherfucker can become charismatic by proximity. And you may not be able to be as charismatic as,
I know I had to learn how to speak to people, deal with people, be personal. I'm naturally a shy person.
But you always been.
I had to learn how to
But you
project.
always been able to rhyme good as a motherfucker.
I've always been able to rhyme good, yeah.
That's my point.
But
So
I had to learn all the other things, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Some of the other shit can be taught by proximity or by showing a motherfucker an example. It's like I can't teach you how to write, or express yourself in a compelling way. So talent to me is, probably still, 60, 70% of it. Everything else, the dude's shy, okay, cool. He meet the right girl, he may not be shy. He ain't here forever, you know what I'm saying?
Get turned out real quick.
He say some weird shit, media training a couple of times, even if you don't learn everything. It's other shit you can work on, but talent, still to me, it probably the only person that has and this man is incredibly talented, but like somebody like Rocky, right? Like Rocky's, charismatic as hell. By the grace of God, the brother's, a handsome brother. Pause. I know I'm gonna get that, but it is what it is.
Hey man, subjectively, man, but
the brother
standards of conduct and standards
and he
of
makes
beauty.
great music. But he's 90% editing, 10% execution. Rocky's an over editor, and so it depends. Like every artist is different, but Rocky's the type of motherfucker that can edit over and over, and he'll spend 4 years editing. Take him.
I could tell everything about what he do was very intentional. This last project, the Don't Be Dumb, the rollout was legendary. People talk about the Clips rollout, but I think the
Clips too.
The ASAP Rocky rollout was right up there.
Yeah.
The Amazon thing, I watched that live when it happened, and I was just, as a New Yorker, I was so proud. Because I didn't feel like it was about ASAP Rocky when I was watching it. It felt like it was about the culture, about the city, about yams. It felt like he was doing it for us, and even
some political statements.
It was political statements. Even the visual of it was a political statement. Here we are on this platform that's owned by this billionaire. And here we are, even the fashion choices. Rocky's a high fashion dude. But it was high fashion, but had to look like what you're wearing now. It was high fashion, but still street. And the record choices was great. It was very black. Unapologetically black. And, you brought Rocky around early, the Black Star things, man. How did they hook up the Tim Burton thing?
I think that's just Rocky's celebrity and access. First of all, he's always been a huge fan of Tim Burton. I don't know where they met, to be honest with you. But Rocky's just always been a huge fan. He's a big fan of... what's the director's name that did Darjeeling Express?
Wes Anderson.
Huge Wes Anderson fan.
I watch all Wes Anderson.
He's a huge Wes Anderson fan.
That makes sense.
Huge Tim Burton fan.
So he's quirky.
Quirky, but still beautifully shot.
Wes Anderson, all his movies, every shot looks like a postcard. Which is what makes his movies extra beautiful.
Absolutely. And then Tim Burton, he's got a knack
that's Tim Burton.
It's Tim Burton. So I think Rocky just was a natural fan, had met the dude and took a shot, had asked him to be involved. Because of, who Rocky is, obviously, he was like, man, fuck it,
The Danny Elfman shit, too, the way that they revealed Danny Elfman.
That was surprising to me.
That you didn't know about that?
Oh, I didn't know. I worked on an album with Rocky, so I found out during the course of working on it. I was like, oh, shit. When you realize how much of a Tim Burton fan he is, it's like us. You read credits.
You read credits.
You start to read credits, you're like, oh shit. So I think it probably happened the same way. He's like, man, he did the music for Christmas. What's the name of the Christmas record? I mean, Christmas
The
album?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's right.
And shit like that. So cinematically,
and the Batman stuff.
Right. So cinematically, if you're interested, in soundtrack wise and the scoring and stuff like that, I think Rocky just got interested as a result of his appreciation and admiration for Tim Burton.
And are you the one that got West Side Gun on that record?
Yeah.
Okay, because you work with West Side Gun as well.
Yep.
How does one manage West Side Gun?
You don't.
I didn't think you did.
You can't really manage West Side Gun.
Right.
I love his wrestling program.
Like I said, but that same shit, me and West Side Gun just became really good friends. I think I had him come out to Yams Day one year, 2017, 18, something. So I've been knowing Gun for a long time. I didn't start working with him until 2019. And, him and Benny both, I managed them and helped them renegotiate a couple deals. And, but I work with Gun in a much different capacity than I did other artists. Like, Gun literally came to me and was like, he came to my house and was like, man, I need your Rolodex. At first I was like, nigga, what you mean? First of all, nobody here has a Rolodex no more. You mean my phone? I said, I don't have no fucking Rolodex. He was like, no, I need your Rolodex. Because he obviously is an artist that had interest in parts of the business that I've had experience working in with other artists and some success. Especially a guy like Rocky, like Gun at the time had never been to Europe. He hadn't really, been to Paris Fashion Week and always had an interest in doing certain shit. So whether it be, connecting him with Virgil, I'm the guy who got Virgil to actually write brick on a brick for him for the Griselda.
Tell Virgil write brick on my brick.
So just me understanding him as an artist and Griselda as an artist, I think I was able to just help connect the dots with things that he probably didn't have connections, but at this point, it's like, West Side Gun is West Side Gun, and he's impossible to actually manage. Like, he's got so much shit going on, like, you'll find out. But sometimes people call me like, man, Gun is doing this thing, man, can you get me in? I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, let me call him.
Right.
Yeah. All types of shit.
Yeah, so. I actually watch his wrestling promotion a lot. Actually, last week.
Fourth Row.
I'm sitting on the couch watching it at the crib in St. Louis, and Kweli said, hey, I need you to get to Spain. I'm like, I'm watching Fourth Row, bro.
Yeah, we went to Spain. We went to Spain to tap in with Yassine. We did an episode with Yassine and Brother Ali.
How was that? How many hours was it?
About 2.5 hours.
Man, that nigga can talk, man. I love that nigga to death. But me, sometimes I gotta look at the clock before I call my brother. I'd be like, do I have 2 hours right now?
He said that he wanted to do a podcast with you, me, and Brother Ali.
I'm ready.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Did you have a relationship with Rich Nichols?
Yeah.
The Roots?
For sure.
I feel like...
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to Rich Nichols. When I hear about Yams, I feel like there's a comparison between the vision that Rich Nichols laid out for the Roots and how it plays out, and the vision that Yams laid out for ASAP.
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Definitely accurate, And it's like, every artist, I think, you have a consortium or a small group of individuals that you respect enough to even have input on your experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's important. And if you're lucky to have somebody like a Rich Nichols, like a Yams, then, it's...
masterminding.
Then consider
planning.
Consider yourself blessed. That, I think Tef spoke on it earlier, is like, that's a selfless undertaking. You know what I'm saying? To be like the person that is behind the scenes and wants to contribute to an artistic movement without having to be seen. Yeah, there's probably a whole show that can be done on those types of people.
Yeah, man.
Because every great artist has some, when we talk about Ray Charles, John Abrams.
Right.
Who was his, I think it was his last name.
No, you got Blue Williams and
you got
Corey
Blue Williams
Smith and
all the Outcasts.
Dave Freeze. And there's a lot of people like this.
Come on.
Who need their flowers.
Who absolutely need their flowers. And they do to some degree because of their proximity and involvement, they actually get paid. But yeah, it's like linemen on a football team. The quarterback always gets interviewed. You'll never see the 320-pound nigga that runs a 4.6 that opened up all these avenues for this dude to score a touchdown. They always talk about the quarterback.
Man, that's a good analogy.
In some ways, you got to be okay. Nobody ever talks to the center. This man spent the whole entire game hiking the ball to a motherfucker to start you know what I'm saying? But you never nobody ever interviews the center. If he have a bad day, everybody having a bad day, but nobody ever interviews a sinner. You got to be okay with that.
Thank you for also getting us on that Peppers, man.
Oh,
People
man,
heard me
for
on
sure.
Peppers and they was like, oh, Kweli, you're back. I'm like, I've been doing music this whole time. People like Peppers a lot, though.
They love Pepper.
Shout out to West Side Gun.
Like, to point to your point, West Side Gun can't be managed. It wasn't like I heard the song, I was like, you should get Kweli. And he sent me the song.
Right.
I was like, this is dope. He's like, yeah. And then he called me. He's like, yeah, what I'm thinking is I need to get Yasin and I need Kweli. I need to have a whole, Black Star. I don't want just one of them. I need to get both of them.
He got it.
Yeah. I was happy that actually happened. The video was a trip, though. Y'all almost didn't happen. Somebody was late. Was it?
It was Yasin.
It was Yasin.
It wasn't me.
Of course it was Yasin. It was Yasin.
No, we did the video in my old neighborhood. You know that?
You heard.
Yeah, the neighborhood I grew up in Brooklyn.
She was getting tricky. Motherfuckers was like, oh, shit, Yasin and Kweli.
Yeah, man. Here. Back in the hood. Flatbush.
Yeah. It was cold in New York that day, too. Damn.
All right, so as a manager, I've been looking at things that have been happening with artists recently and artists saying things and doing things that people make people upset, intentionally or not. So recently, Jack Harlow has been rolling out a new record.
No, Jack.
Old Jackie Harlow. And people have been heavily critical of his approach to how he's been rolling out the new album.
Yeah.
He did an interview with John Carmichael from New York Times and some other white dude, which, first of all, I'm going to start out with this. The optics of that interview that even everybody's talking about is wrong.
Up, yeah.
Because you got this white guy. John has been writing
John's
on
my
hip-hop
man,
for the
too.
whole
It's
time,
fucked
right?
up. That's the homie.
John is like, he's been writing about hip-hop for
one of the most
half a
respected
century.
journalists that we still
Right?
have around, to be honest.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a highly respected journalist,
Period.
knows what he's talking about. But
Great.
by nature of his birth, by the lottery of his birth, he's born a white man.
He was.
Right? Not his fault. Nothing wrong
His
with it.
name ends in a vowel and he's not Nigerian.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got this other white guy who I don't know, but I assume if he's up there having a conversation with an artist that's successful as Jack Harlow, he's earned his place.
Right.
He's another white guy.
Right.
Then you got Jack Harlow, another white guy. So you got three white guys.
Three whites.
Three whites. Accomplished in the black space and respected in the black space.
Yes.
Talking about how black Jack Harlow, there's not one nigga in the room for this conversation because if
I don't
one
even know
black
if that
dude
would have made it better. Though.
if there's one black dude in the room, when he said my music is sounding blacker,
Yeah.
there would have been at least a joke made or some sort of something.
I think the point he was trying to make, if I'm just being like, if I'm making way for some kind of understanding, I think the point he was trying to make, and it took me a minute to realize that because I watched it like 4 times before.
Oh, me too.
Before I called my nigga Lakey, I had to call Lakey like, yo, what's up, man? So, but I think the point he was trying to make was, we often, it's the whole Post Malone thing or Kid Rock thing where you start with these, hip hop nuances or influence. You actually rapping and wearing gold chains and shit. And then by your third album and some success, you decide to be a country artist and abandon that.
Van Lathan calls them white vacationers.
Right.
He said they take a vacation in black culture.
He was trying to pinpoint the fact that I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I didn't do what those other artists did. I actually went blacker, but it just don't.
But you know why? Because
right.
if he had actually popped up with, and I'm not saying this because I want to do a song with Jack Harlow. That's not the end of this. But if he had popped up with a song with Talib or a song with Common or a song with, instead of just the hat.
So you don't want to do
You know what I'm saying? He like dressed like nigga.
So are you telling me that Talib Kweli doesn't want to do a song with Yakub Kweli?
Listen.
Oh my God. Yakub Kweli, bro, that's so wild.
That's what they called him. Here's some other names that they called him. They called him Link Condition. They called him Neo-Colonial Soul.
That shit was hilarious.
They called him Music Stole Child.
IRS One, and IRS One.
Most definitely not.
Which is fucking hilarious.
They called him White Thought.
Yeah.
Ghostface Vanilla.
IRS One and Slum Privilege was the best one.
Slum Privilege. I like that one. But it's just, it's like you're wearing it as a costume. And I'll tell you a story from People's Party Stage. So this podcast is very black and very independent, right? On purpose. People's Party, I loved working on People's Party. I still have great relationships with all the Up Rocks people, and shout out to Jared, and everybody who was involved in it. But also, it's also very corporate. So they let me do stuff, but I had to like explain shit. So if I wanted to have like Aja Monet, or we had Tori Russell on, right? For me to have
when
Tori,
I saw that episode, I said, "Damn,
yeah,
dude, Talib got a boss up there? Like he wild."
Right, but I had to go and tell them, explain to them like, this is who this guy is, and this is why it's important for me to have this. You know what I'm saying? And it was a thing. And with this podcast, I don't have to do it. But also, they would come to me.
Right.
And they'd be like, yo, we have to have this person on. Right? And so one day they came to me and they were like, we have to have this dude, Jack Harlow. I was like, who is this? He was like, yo, trust us, he's going to blow. He's a white dude from Kentucky. He could rhyme. And I'm like, well, I know a lot of black dudes who can rhyme. Why can't? Because he's white? That's the reason we go?
Right.
Because that's what you're saying to me.
Right.
You're saying the deciding factor is because he's white. Right? And I don't think y'all realize that's what y'all saying to me.
Right.
But that's exactly what y'all saying to me. Two white boys saying this to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they caught them. Say, oh, that is what we're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then they started.
Actually, that's what we're saying. So Monday, is that good or not?
Right. No, but then they started coming with the talking points. He works with this person, works with this. So I did my research, and I'm researching him, and I decided to not do it. Because I was like, yo, if y'all putting all this effort into this white boy, and because you're telling me he's going to blow up, you could put the same effort into an artist of color who's not getting the, because a lot of people think, you know, a white person in hip hop, he's gonna have it harder. No. White person in hip hop's gonna have it easier. Macklemore says this. Mac Miller says this.
Right.
People, R.A. the Rugged Man says this. People who really about the hip hop, and Eminem says this. Eminem says, you know, if I was black, I would have sold half.
Yeah.
Being white makes it easier for me.
He did say
right?
that. You're right.
So I was like, why are we doing this for Jack Harlow? He'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's somebody else we could uplift. Let's go talk to an activist or something. And so then Jack Harlow comes out with the record with Tory Lanez and Lil Wayne, everybody on the record. And I really did like that record. So I remember being like, damn, maybe I should have did that.
I should have did.
Yeah.
Jack Harlow's dope. I need to follow
Jack Harlow's
Harlow.
just kind of dope, right?
Yeah.
But so then I was thinking, okay, maybe they was right about that one. But then the spirit, then I realized they wasn't right, because then I saw footage of Jack Harlow during the Kentucky Derby being carried over the mud by his all-black crew. Right? Now, again, it's optics.
That didn't sit well with you?
It didn't sit well with me. It's optics. Like, these is young people.
Right.
They don't have the historical lens I got. And the Kentucky Derby, you have a white suit on, you want to get your shit dirty with the mud. Right. And if that's the dude who made it out the crew, yeah, we gonna lift our brother up. But bro, it's the optics of what it looked like. I'm sure they didn't look at it on some racist shit.
Right.
I'm sure they looked at it as we just helping the bro out.
I don't know if I've seen that clip.
But it's like
I ain't see that.
Now I need to see it.
He's going
I
from
gotta go
his
see
trailer
it
to
too.
the stage, and he got all these black dudes, and they carrying him, so his feet don't touch the ground like Jesus,
Shit.
right? So he's like white hip hop Jesus, and all white Kentucky Colonel Sanders.
At the Kentucky Derby.
He was just with the Colonel Sanders on.
damn.
So now you look like a plantation owner too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The optics was terrible, bro.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't hold it against him, because I was like, they didn't mean that.
Yeah.
It just looked bad,
It
right?
just look bad.
But then the song comes out. I don't want no whips and chains to knock
my
me
God,
down.
Kweli.
Now, to my ear, let me land this, as they say in the West Coast. Let me land this plane. You know what I'm saying? To my ear, a white boy talking about
Whips and
he don't
chains.
want the whips and chains. I know he talking about S&M. You know what I'm saying? I get it. It's kinky, it's sexy. I get it.
And he says, I'm vanilla, baby.
And then you go, I don't want no whips and chains. I'm vanilla, baby. So now you playing in my face. Bro. Now you playing in my face. Now you, and I still don't think they doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
But there's a lack of historical perspective. There's a lack of conscious lensing. There's a lack of like someone around to be like, no. Like if you want to put on the Music Soul Child hat and the common pants, and you want to,
Technically, it's a Dwelle hat, but whatever.
you know what I'm saying? You
Dwelle
wanna
hat is, whoa. Dwelle.
You could do that, right?
Yeah,
but bro, you got to go tap in with my Dukes.
Yeah.
You got to go sit with Dwelle. You got to sit with James Poyser. You got to sit with the Soul. You got to do it. And you might still get dissed.
Right.
But at least if you get dissed, like there's a lot of artists who, you know what I'm saying? Like you might still get dissed, but at least us would be like, nah, he tried though.
Yeah, I don't feel
You know what I'm
bad for any scrutiny that he get. I think he's obviously part of what he did. I mean, you can't call the album My Nigga and not expect somebody to say something.
Did you know that part?
Wait, what now?
He didn't know that part.
Wait, what now?
I was going
The
to bring
name of
that
the
up.
album is Monica.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Say it slow.
From a white comedian who said
Say it slow.
people kept calling him Monica and he didn't
Say
know
Monica
why.
slow. So, sound it out, both syllables. All three syllables. My
Jack Harlow ain't got no friends.
My nigga.
This is the problem. Jack Harlow ain't got no friends, bro. Your friend's supposed to tell
he
you.
He does. So his manager, Lakey's my brother. Good dude, man.
He said, no, he
LA.
does.
He does. He has friends. And I think people definitely, attempted to tell him, like, man, but it goes back to what we're talking about. And today, negative attention sometimes, it's a conversation starter. And I think the attention that he's getting, the conversation that he's got as a result of the name of the album and the sound of the album has actually benefited to people checking in, for better or for worse.
I feel like he gonna have a song with Chet Hanks in a second, bro.
Can I ask you this, Chace? When
Chet Hanks gonna be.
I told you my
Chet
answer.
reggae
My
style.
answer is that Tef Poe's next album needs to be a motherfucking heavy metal album, and we gonna call it Dwight.
and I'm gonna come out
Dwight.
leather vest, no shirt on under the Johns.
Tef Poe Dwight.
But let me ask you this, bro. When a situation like this happens, right? Because I'm gonna preface this with this. I'm surprised that this is going this way with this Jack Harlow campaign because he was actually kind of like one of the more respectable white MCs. You know what I'm saying? So when a situation like this happens, how much of it, from your perspective as an A&R and as an executive behind the scenes, is intentional, given the fact that it is such a data-driven game, it's such a clickbait-driven game, it's such a conversation-driven game.
Yeah.
How much of it is like, fuck it, man, it's negative attention, but everybody's talking about it, so who gives a damn?
Jack Harlow is an extremely intelligent person. I think he's obviously a gifted artist, and I refuse to believe that he didn't know that all of this shit was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I think, he just, and to be honest, it takes a lot of balls to be able to be like, fuck it. Like what they gonna say. Like, and then also, and Kweli gonna love this, but it's also very indicative of the climate of America, of the world, when we live in a time where our president has said far worse, way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I'm Jack Harlow and I'm rationalizing it against what the motherfucker like Donald Trump says, it ain't so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it doesn't make it any better, but it also is like, he's got the opportunity to justify it by, he's like, because on one hand, it's like, we're not putting him in the same category as a Donald Trump, right? Or perceivably, from his perspective,
there's levels to it.
So he's like, okay, so how bad is it? Monica, nigga, put that shit out.
You know what I think it is? It's the putting on the blackness and putting on the, not just blackness, right? But putting on positivity as a costume. Because it's like, black people are the moral compass of America. When people start to do stuff like that, it's because they want to feel good. Black people have taught America how to feel good. We've taught America how to have joy, how to deal with adversity. America knows how to celebrate and feel joy because of black culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I think it's kind of parallel to what LaRussell's going through now, right? Because I like LaRussell, but I feel like the internet is like turning on him right now. Where he did a thing where he was like, he said that we all heaven sent, right? Yeah. Donald Trump is heaven sent. It was the order in which he did it, right? He said, we all heaven sent. Martin Luther King is heaven sent. Even Malcolm X is heaven sent. Even Donald Trump is heaven sent. Even Hitler is. Even Jeffrey Epstein.
And then even you.
And even you. Like, nigga, what?
Like, what you mean?
And, to me, I'm not angry that he said that. I think it's a little goofy that he said it. It's a semantic thing. I get what he was trying to say. We all God's children. We all come from God.
And we
doesn't
all
mean
have
we're
the
all heaven
ability
sent.
to decide.
Yeah. But I think what the problem is that he's trying to be positive for the sake of being positive in the song. There's no real depth or weight to what he's saying. What he's saying is, I'm just a human being. We're all human beings. Well, no shit. That's not a profound point. Yeah, we're all human beings. Yes, we all, if you believe in God, yeah, we all come from God. What else you got?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the way he set it up, like, I'm an artist. That's what he's in the clip. I'm an artist, so I have to say what needs to be said that other people ain't saying.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody saying that Donald Trump don't come from God or Jeffrey Epstein.
I think the issue in the brother La Russell, because I like La Russell too, but I think from his perspective or what he was trying to, obviously we all know what he was trying to convey, is that, you know, but even when writing, man, and I know you know this just as a writer, like, you still gotta like, there has to be a way for you to tether yourself and look at what you actually wrote and see how it will affect people, even if you don't care. Because sometimes, you know, art calls for that, for you not to consider somebody else and how you express yourself. And I support that. I'm in favor of that. But also, you do need to have a lens sometimes on how it's going to land.
It's the lack of the political education. I always say this with the Malcolm X grassroots movement. We weren't always on this. My politic is not the same, exactly the same as Dead Prez, and it's not exactly the same as David Banner. It's not exactly the same as Commons. But before we got on that stage, it was like, look, this is the goal, this is the code, this is what we on. And they're not these, I don't feel like, I'm not saying they're similar artists, but I think their mistakes are similar. I think the mistake Jack Harlow's making is similar to
you're saying they should go on tour together?
Maybe.
The crash out tour.
Jack Harlow.
Yeah, Jack Harlow and La Russell.
Hands across America.
Right, explaining ourselves tour. You know what I'm saying?
The We Crashed Out tour.
We crashed out tour. But I think the mistakes, there's a similarity in the mistake that you're speaking on something that you're not actually tapped into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm having a problem with, excuse
It was
me.
very Kanye-esque, though. When I saw the Russell shit, I was like,
Now Kanye would have leaned into the negative, toxic part of it. La Russell's trying to be like, look at how above board I am. Look at how I can look at every human being and not be a judgmental person.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm having a growing problem with stuff like that in hip hop right now, though. To be real with you, though, dog, like, it's a lot of cats bringing a religious functionality or moral functionality into the whole culture sometimes. And then they like issue like these blanket statements like, well, I'm just trying to help everybody. I don't believe the same shit you believe, nigga. How you trying to help me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in the political functioning of the society. People need to be able to eat, get jobs, stuff like that. Like, if you're going to start talking about like a moral utility of the world, if you ain't starting there, you really ain't talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just telling me your philosophy on what's going to make me a better person. Like, all right, cool, that worked for you. That where I'm from, that may not, you know, apply to my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true.
What's crazy about this era and in the news cycle was like the person who's really like representing for the people in a way that is being paid attention to.
Oh, my
is
dog.
Afro Man.
Oh, my dog. I knew you was going to bring him up.
It's Afro
That's
Man.
my dog.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Afro
living
Man
legend.
is hilarious, bro.
Yo.
Legend.
That nigga's hilarious.
Yo.
That's the man.
I had never heard that song until I actually watched parts of the trial. I was like, yo, this nigga is
Bro,
wild.
that shit happened years ago.
Man, I ride with
that shit
Afro
happened
Man.
like 5 years ago. And here's
But then politically, like you said, we may not agree politically because there's some points I'm like, yeah, bro's wild.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm rolling, Chase. I'm rolling with the
I'm
whole
kinda
shit.
tapped in with Dog
I'm
a little
rolling.
bit too.
And here's why I'm rolling.
kinda tapped in with
First of
Afro.
all, I gotta state, white people love Afro Man.
Yeah.
Particularly white women.
Yeah.
Every white woman in my life, it's not many, but every single one of them sent me that video as if I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like all the white women I know, all of them, and even the ones y'all know too, the ones y'all think about, yeah, them too.
It's the American flag suit.
Nah, I don't think
with
it's
the
the
suit.
American
The Don
flag.
King
No.
costume.
with the
I'm gonna
suit.
tell you why white people love Afro Man,
He was
man,
wild with the suit.
because that song I Got High, fucking Kevin Smith and you know what I'm saying, like stoner ass white boys love that shit. And it's like that's I Got High is part of white stoner culture.
It is.
So white people just love Afro Man.
Yeah.
And the way that he trolled the police, bro. They for people who are watching who don't know what happened, the police broke into his crib saying that they had warrants for kidnapping and drug trafficking and all this. They broke into his crib, broke a bunch of shit up, left. He asked for an
Stole money.
apology.
They stole money.
They stole the money,
yeah.
stole the bread.
$4,000.
All he did was like, yo, apologize. They said no. So he made a record talking about you gonna pay for my door,
Lemon pound cake.
and he said,
Oh, they ate some of his pound cake out his kitchen.
His grandma's
pound cake.
And he made a song about it.
No, I don't think they ate some of the cake. They stopped to look at the
Look at
cake.
the cake.
He said,
All they found
was lemon pound cake.
His grandma's lemon pound
And then
cake.
he made
I
a
thought dude
song.
took a slice of the cake.
No, then he
The officer said mad people were sending him a lemon pound cake to the precinct.
Then he made a song saying the female officer was a hoe. Bro,
No,
did you see?
transvestite.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he
Did you
said
see the footage of
Transvestite. Is that the right word? Transsexual. Sorry.
Listen, did you see the footage of them playing?
Don't cancel me.
They playing. Listen, man, this is a safe space, Chase.
Trans, whatever you want to say.
Trans person.
Yeah, trans person.
Trans person. Did you see the
You know what I
footage
mean?
of them playing the song about the female cop in court?
Yeah.
And she started
started
crying,
crying.
bro.
Yeah.
Yo,
started
any
crying.
nigga that make the
She's like,
cops
"I don't
cry
have
with a
penis."
song is my hero.
She said, I don't have a penis. Oh my God. That
Hey,
shit
the
was
way-
hilarious. No, I died. That shit was
I
hilarious.
just like the way he stood his ground in court because they kept on saying that the lawyer kept on trying to press him on some like, why would you do this? And he said, well, this doesn't start if y'all don't kick my shit in. You know what I'm saying?
They would talk about the trauma. We had so much trauma for hearing them songs. He said, I have trauma from y'all kicking my door in. Man, and he won. And he won against the police. That type of shit happens to people who are not Afro Man all the time. Afro Man knows how to make a song and upload it and be engaging and charismatic. That type of shit happens to people who don't know how to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So big up Afro Man for standing his
big
ground.
up Afro Man for sure.
Yeah, man.
For sure. But, it's just funny that some people who support certain aspects of Trump's America also have fallen victim to certain aspects of Trump's America. That's kind of,
As Razcast would say, the leopard is eating their faces.
Yeah. Leopard eats face.
Leopard
Big
eats
up to my
People
brother
getting what
John
they
Austin,
voted
man.
for. That's how I feel.
Yeah, man.
You're getting what you wanted.
La Russell was connected with Rock Nation. You connected with Rock Nation.
Yeah.
Jay-Z just put the umlaut. Is that how you say it? Umlaut. Is that the right thing? The two dots.
Oh, yeah, above his...
Yeah.
Yeah, only you would go figure out what that word
Yeah, the
is.
umlaut.
above the...
Regular people, you
Yeah,
know, we
man.
have regular rap
does that
vocabularies.
mean?
I don't know. It's like the two little dots above to make it Jay-Z. I don't know.
Whatever.
But you work with Rock Nation, nigga. You supposed to tell me.
I have a partnership with Rock
You
Nation.
supposed to tell me what.
I have a partnership with Rock Nation for the management. Actually, now just on Benny the Butcher. But I have known Jay Brown for quite some time. Somebody I consider a friend and somewhat of
So
a...
call him up, ask him what the umlaut's about.
Jay, he'll be like, bro, why you even calling me about this shit? Like, for real, he don't even accept them type of calls.
But yeah,
I don't
Jay
know,
popping
but
back
I
out for the
think,
roots.
but I think didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. The Jay-Z historians will correct me, but I think he put it back there. At one point, it was
on the Reasonable Doubt album.
Okay,
He took
there
it
you go.
off.
There you go.
And then he took the hyphen out, and then he put the hyphen back in. And now for the anniversary of the Reasonable Doubt and the Blueprint and the Roots Picnic announcements, they put the umlaut back on. And
Well, there you go. If he's reliving or celebrating the era in which the umlaut was on the, I think that's probably what it's symbolic of. But,
Yeah.
Jay-Z's, I think I always have this argument with hip hop about Brooklyn Jay-Z versus LA years Jay-Z. I was like, LA years Jay-Z is kind of killing Brooklyn years Jay-Z. Like, the Brooklyn years Jay-Z set the foundation, incredible, unforgivable, like ridiculous,
so y'all
unforgettable.
trying to take credit now?
I'm not trying. I'm just saying, like, what he evolved into.
What-
He wasn't feeding the kids liquid gold. He didn't even have kids. He wasn't
Right.
feeding the kids liquid gold. He hadn't reached the multi-billionaire status. He hadn't had the hottest party during the Oscars. Took over the gold party. Took over Clive. He got Clive Davis shit the fuck up out of here. He didn't do so much to help so many artists. There's a lot of accolades in the LA years that didn't exist.
So
during the
if we
Brooklyn
are
years.
saying that Reasonable Doubt is a ringer of an album and is not allowed to compete,
Yeah.
what's the best Jay-Z album to you and to you?
If Reasonable Doubt's not allowed to compete.
Because a lot of people just automatically say Reasonable Doubt.
Oh, well.
Oh, man.
Some people might not feel that way. Some people might feel like Blueprint is better than Reasonable Doubt.
Let me slow it down. I mean, I'm a Blueprint dude.
Blueprint and then Black Album, probably. I like both of those albums.
I'm going to go Blueprint.
Yeah.
And I like odd Jay-Z albums that don't nobody else like. Like I like
American Gangster?
I like Volume 1 and American Gangster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Volume 1 though.
Yeah. I do too. There's some moments on there. But I mean, I'm generally a Jay-Z fan. So
I gotta give Kingdom Come, even though nobody would say Kingdom Come, I'm always gonna roll home team. My man B Money from the Crib did the intro on that.
I think Khalil did Mama Made It. Mama Made It was on Kingdom Come, right? Yeah, Khalil
Kingdom
did.
Come had some joints, but people was
had
acting
some
like it was
joints on it.
terrible.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come had some smacks.
Yeah, he did.
My opinion. He had
There's
the
very few Jay-Z albums that didn't have some smacks. They just, as a fan, you probably go, oh, why'd he put that album on there? But he did things commercially. That's what Jay-Z's gift is to me. Like, he'll do things commercially that you might understand right away. Like,
yeah.
You belong to the city. Or they like, at first
Amazing.
you're like, I remember when I first heard it, I was like, man, why would Jay do this?
You know what?
But then it's
which
like,
one for me that was? The Forever Young.
Forever Young.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but
Yeah.
in the context of who Jay-Z is, it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. You can't do Glastonbury without those types of records. Like, it's just, and I think he's always had the foresight to see himself representing something outside of what Reasonable Doubt represented, which is like.
I also love that Jay-Z and Jay Electronica album.
Oh,
I love it too.
Me
I
too.
love that
It's a
album.
conscious
I love that
album.
album.
Incredible album.
That's the
I think
album.
Jay's performance on there is ridiculous.
I love
That's
that
Jay-Z's
Jay-Z.
God Body Coming Out
That's
party
one of my
album.
favorite Jay-Z's right there.
Word.
Hove on that album,
Crazy.
couldn't believe he was saying half the stuff he was saying.
Yeah. Inshallah. But when we said that, I was like, Jay-Z, I was like, Jay out here.
Yeah.
I had to take the headphones off at first, like, whoa.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Straight
But
up.
that's the thing I think that makes Jay so popular, man. Aside from obviously being arguably the most gifted MC ever, but it's like he got so many sides that, as long as we've known him from a fan perspective, he still things he can, 444, the shit that he can still reveal or put into a perspective that is hard to articulate for other artists. Yeah,
man.
Him and Nas, man, they're kind of in a league of their own.
Yeah. Nas stepped up his business shit so much. Nas didn't focus on the business at all and just focus on the art and being an ill lyricist. But when he stepped into the business side of Nas,
A whole nother thing.
he went straight
happened.
tycoon mode.
Crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
proud of what he's able to represent for the culture.
Incredibly, like, just, happy to see that shit. Like,
Yeah, Mass Appeal is a good situation.
Yeah. Shout out to Peter. Shout out to
Peter and the whole rest in peace, Sasha Jenkins.
Word. Rest in peace, Sasha Jenkins.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, I need some new Haroon gear.
Okay.
I need some hats.
I wish you had told me that before I came over here. I just brought you a bunch of shit.
You know what I'm saying? I might have
should've
to go
known.
over there.
I should have known.
Haroon was closed for a year, right?
It was.
Man, shout out to Haroon Coffee.
Yes.
It's more than a cafe.
It is.
It's like the heart and soul of Leimert Park was become like that. Culture is protected there.
sure.
Seen you did a thing with Terrence Martin there.
Yeah, man.
I seen Stevie Wonder, pictures of Stevie. How did Stevie Wonder end up in there?
Man, it's crazy. So Estelle, our sister Estelle, she actually lives in Leimert.
Okay.
She's from London, but lives in Leimert.
I met Estelle at Deal Real Records in London. She was working the counter.
Wow.
And I did an in-store there. She's like, I rap.
That's very
And then I got her number and she put me on a song with her and John Legend.
crazy.
And this is John Stevens.
Pre-American Boy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she lives in Leimert, and she's actually really good friends with Stevie and his wife. And she comes all the time. She came by for her birthday, and she's been a supporter of Haroon since we opened, because she's lived in Leimert as long as I've had the coffee shop. And so Stevie Wonder shows up, and I'm calling. I called Warren Campbell. I called Tim Henshaw. I called a bunch of people that I know work with Stevie. I'm like, did you tell this nigga about Haroon Coffee? They're like, nah, but I'm glad he there. I'm on my way.
Right.
People was coming by, and then Estelle showed up. I was like, nigga, Stevie Wonder's here. She's like, I know.
I sent him.
I was like, how do you know? She's like, I told him and his wife to come by. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't even think about it. So she actually told Stevie about Haroon Coffee. Stevie Wonder comes by, is having, biscuits and coffee with, I had to ask his brother to move his seat. He was like, and it's now the dude who I asked to move his seat comes in all the time. I was like, I can't believe I had to. He's like, man, you helped me. You sparked memories of my childhood, man. I gave up my seat to Stevie Wonder.
That's right.
So yes, Tan Terrace is always been a friend of the coffee shop in one of my actual brothers. We both have children that are on the spectrum. And we talk very often just about, the difficulty of being a parent to a neurodivergent child. And, and just somebody Terrace, has a lot of wisdom and just a good dude. So I talk to him a lot about just life.
Yeah,
And then,
he's a great dude.
And he's always, he grew up, at World Stage and honed his craft at World Stage. It was owned by Dwight Bibbs, and you mentioned Billy Higgins earlier.
Right.
So
We had Georgia give us the whole history of World Stage yesterday.
Word.
Yeah.
And so his relationship with the World Stage and Lamert Park is something that's way beyond me. But because we're there and have become like this sort of an institution in Lamert, like every year, he'll just call me like, I'm doing 2 nights.
Yeah.
Free, pull up. And last time he came was during the opening weekend, the reopening, because we closed for a year to remodel. I formed a new partnership with a brother named Prophet Walker and Sharon Hall, who own a company called Community Labs, who are doing some uplifting in the community and kind of changing the face of a lot of businesses. I did a partnership with them, and Terrace came out. And Terrace brought Ronald Bruner, Kenneth Crouch, who's a friend of mine, who was on keys for a while. He had fucking Keon Harold,
yeah.
who I didn't even know this until 4 years ago. My aunt told me that we're related. We're actually cousins. He's from St. Louis.
He's from St. Louis.
Yeah, so is Keon.
Yeah.
My mother's from St. Louis.
Oh, Keon Harold?
Rest in peace.
Oh, that's my dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we actually got
we're cousins, and I didn't know.
You cousins with Keon?
Yeah.
His mom from St. Louis.
My mom's from St.
So
Louis.
that means Emmanuel is your cousin?
Yeah.
That's
But
his brother.
But I didn't. I know, but I didn't. I had no idea until maybe 4 years ago. My mother has 7 brothers and sisters, and my father had 15. So I got a big family. Sometimes you'll meet. Kweli been knowing me for long. I'm sure this nigga done met 100 niggas that probably came up to him like, "Yeah, I'm Chace's cousin. You know my cousin Chace."
Right.
Like sometimes you think they joking, but I got a bunch of cousins, and Keon is one. So Keon came, and I had contemporary jazz legends at Haroon.
That's insane.
We changed one side into like a speakeasy. I got like a speakeasy door that goes between the coffee shop and what we consider the speakeasy. So it was really dope, man.
You got to contextualize that for them. That's like saying, like, yeah, the new Miles Davis is my cousin, man. You know what I'm saying?
Trust
Like,
me, I was already a fan and was like, wait, who? For real?
Did you ever see that footage of Keon's son?
That's how I found out.
That's how you found out. That whole situation went viral. You know about that?
That's how I found out.
Yeah.
My aunt Danita called me and was like, that's your cousin. I'm like, what do you mean?
yeah, we got involved with
yeah.
that. My org back at the
And
time,
then when I
got
was
involved
working with
that
Georgia, when I was
Keon.
managing Georgia, Georgia's booking agent, Maurice, is Keon's booking agent. So we actually we got connected through that relationship and, got to know each other. And, from that time to time now, I'll call him and harass him to come down or
That's
tickets
crazy,
and
man.
shit like
I
that.
got a show with Keon
I
in July.
had no idea, but yeah. that's fam, man.
Damn.
I want to read a quote of yours back to you.
Oh,
And this will be the last question. Thank you for your time.
Weed then?
No, this is actually a very recent quote.
Oh, fuck.
He said, "The people who designed Lamert never intended for us to live here."
Very true.
Unpack that for us.
Walter H. Lamert hired the sons of Rudolph Olmsted, twin sons of so Rudolph Olmsted, or I think it's Randolph maybe, Olmsted designed Central Park. So a little bit about Los Angeles. Los Angeles, and you got to read a book called City of Quartz, of Quartz, Quartz, by Mike Davis. And it kind of gives context to Los Angeles culturally. Los Angeles is a wayward city where people from counter-religious movements, counter-political movements actually came to with an intent to create an industry or create something. Walter H. Lamert was from the East Coast. He was a member of the pact of people that came out here with the intent to, take advantage of the resources in the landscape. Land was cheap. So when he developed Lamert Park, so the same man who developed Central Park on the East Coast, designed and developed by way of Walter H. Lamert, designed Lamert Park, which is why it's called Lamert Park. But the original bylaws of Lamert Park stated, I think it was clause number 16, and all the clauses of the neighborhood. He never intended for a person of color to live in Lamert unless you were a butler, maid, or servant. There's something called, it was Shelley versus Roe, 1948 was the end of the red zoning laws. The red zoning laws famously prevented Black people from living in certain areas in America. And after 1948, when that ruling was overturned, Black people started to move around a little bit, but still economically couldn't live in certain areas. The area that is Leimert Park is technically in the Crenshaw district. And that area was inhabited mostly by rich white people. You know, the guy Baldwin who owned the ranch for Baldwin Hills and all this shit. It never really intended for Black people to live there. So we had to sublease through white families or really Japanese families, because after the camps in World War II, a large contingency of Japanese people came to Leimert first before droves of Black people came there. And yeah, so it was never really intended for Black people to live there unless you're a butler, maid, or servant, and probably still wouldn't be as stronghold for Black people in LA if it wasn't for the 1965 Watts revolt or riots. So that caused something we call white flight. White flight, all the white people who were traditionally landowners, homeowners there, felt it was in too close proximity to Watts, after that type of revolt. So you started seeing a lot of people flee out. And then Leimert actually got established by the Black artistic community, social political movements, artists, and then there's something they don't talk about very often, but Black gay males helped establish Leimert Park. You know, they don't talk about that a lot, but that's actually the contingency of people. And my father always told me, when you're thinking about, and this is gonna be controversial, but he always said when I started making a little bit of money, he was like, if you think about investing, always invest where artists and gay people go, because they're usually the vanguard of gentrification. And I was like, damn, I used to trip out there like, this nigga be saying some wild shit. but if you think about it, it's probably, the truth. So when you talk about Dale Davis and the Brockman Gallery and his brother, and where people like, famous Black artists were first discovered. You talk about Eric Dolphy, you talk about Billy Higgins, you talk about Horace Tapscott. Like, it became just this place where artists that felt as though they had a responsibility to Black people came from, were headquartered. But yeah, they never intended, or Walter H. Leimert never intended for Black people to live there unless they were a butler, maid, or servant.
Damn.
Surprise, nigga.
Surprise.
Now it's 79% Black home ownership.
Nigga, we
all
here.
Black businesses is all over the place.
Man. Yeah, man. Leimert Park is a very integral part of LA culture for Black people. And
yeah.
I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're you.
Thank you, brother.
I love and appreciate you.
Likewise, brother. One of my real friends, man.
Yeah,
I tell you that all the time.
Yeah,
brother.
man. Spending so much time with us, your time is very valuable.
Likewise.
And we're proud to have you on.
Yeah, and I just found out Chace Infinite is an honorary STL.
Y'all cousins
Come on,
now.
yeah. We might be cousins, man. Shout out to the Genius family in St. Louis. You know what I'm
Crazy,
saying?
man.
No doubt.
Life is wild.
For sure. Thank you, brother. Appreciate y'all, man. For real.